Breaking overnight, the search for the Egypt Air flight that suddenly went missing from radar with 66 people on board. What we're learning at this hour.
Lost consciousness. Her mind.
Into Lynchburg. Jenna?
Thanks, Christina. We are following a developing story this morning after an Egypt Air flight went missing, disappearing from radar over the Mediterranean Sea. The flight was carrying 66 passengers and crew from Paris to Cairo. According to Egyptian officials, the jet was about 10 miles into Egyptian airspace when it vanished.
The plane's trace
guilty.
Closing arguments will be delivered later today for one of 6 officers charged in connection to the death of Freddie Gray. Edward Nero is charged with assault, misconduct in office, and reckless endangerment. Prosecutors say he was negligent when he failed to secure Gray in the police van during his arrest. But Nero's defense argued restraining a suspect was the responsibility of the driver. 25-year-old Gray died while in custody in April last year.
Memorial 7.
A 12-year-old girl in BOTETOURT County thanks rescue workers for saving her mother's life. This comes as the nation recognizes fire and EMS workers this week. WSLS 10's Rob Manch brings us the life-saving story.
Emergency crews run. Rob Manch, WSLS 10.
After 2 years of work, construction at Glenver High School now complete. And this weekend is the first chance for the public to get a look inside.
And Sunday afternoon, there's going to be an open house.
Beautiful upgrades. Thanks so much, Aaron. 5:07 now in What's News Today. The city of Danville holds a public meeting about safety concerns at the Long Mill Dam. It's a low-head dam on the Dan River near the Danville Family YMCA. City staff will talk about the hazards of the dam and possible solutions, including removing it. The open house meeting starts at 5. Roanoke Fire EMS holding a child safety seat check today. The department certified 16 new child passenger safety technicians. You can get your child's seat checked to make sure it's properly installed today from 4 to 6 at Station 6 on Jameson Avenue.
Roanoke Navy Week and a drink.
The owner of discount retailers TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods plan to add thousands of stores. The TJX company's CEO told investors they'll eventually have 5,600 stores, up from its current 3,700. The company reported strong sales growth in the first quarter. Sales at stores open for at least a year rose 7%. No word yet on a timeline for the store openings, but the company added 47 stores in its fiscal first quarter of this year. So maybe that means we'll finally get a Home Goods.
Time will tell.
I know a lot of people have been wanting that to happen.
We'll have to wait and see. A new study, fellow firefighter.
Plus, we continue following a plane crash out of the Mediterranean. We'll have much more on that story after weather and traffic. Good morning. Thanks so much for joining us on Virginia Today here on WSLS 10. I'm Jenna Zib 10.
And I'm Patrick McKee. And yet again, we're starting off on the gloomy side.
I'm Kim Hutchison reporting.
New this morning, the state has compiled a resource guide for families of missing Virginians. The document was prompted by the Virginia State Crime Commission's 2014 study on missing persons and search and rescue teams. The commission asked the Department of Criminal Justice Services to write a brochure to give Virginians advice on what to do when a family member goes missing. The brochure includes contact information for state and national organizations.
More than 100 were homicides.
The lone survivor of a deadly shooting that took the lives of 2 local journalists is sharing what she's learned.
It was tragic. It was horrible. It was something that one would never expect.
Vicki Gardner says she'll never forget August 26th. The Smith Mountain Lake executive was shot on live TV. Now she's talking to business leaders in Petersburg about overcoming adversity. The city has seen its share of violence with 11 shootings so far this year. Gardner says there's power in communities coming together.
When bad things come our way, how we can turn them around. We can wallow in it and we can fight against it, or we can embrace it and find a way to turn it into something that is good for the community.
Monetary gifts from all over the world are helping turn tragedy into Vicki's vision of a community center near Smith Mountain Lake.
A female firefighter department.
Today marks day 2 of a trial 3 years in the making. An attorney is arguing Virginia Wesleyan College is partly responsible for the 2012 rape of a college freshman. It's all a part of a $10 million lawsuit against the college and a lacrosse team member accused. In opening statements, the alleged victim's attorney says she was drugged at a party. Attorneys say evidence shows the university was negligent and has a history of not having proper procedures. But university attorneys argue it was consensual and the university did nothing wrong.
5:36 now, and this year marks 50 years since Glenford High School first opened its doors. Since 1966, very little's changed or been updated. That is, until now.
A total renovation of the high school now finished, and this morning we're getting the first look inside. WSLS 10's Aaron Brookshire got an early tour of the updated building and joins us live with the changes.
Good morning. Yes, there are some big...
A movie about an interracial couple from Virginia receives rave reviews after its debut at the Cannes Film Festival this week. Loving tells the story of Richard and Mildred Loving, who married during the 1950s, which at that time was prohibited by state law. Their love for each other changed history through the landmark 1967 Supreme Court case, Loving versus Virginia. The movie was filmed in parts of the Commonwealth and included extras from around the state. It's set to debut here in November, and I know a lot of people are looking forward to seeing this one.
They are.
Well, we are more than halfway through the WSLS 10 Virginia Proud Weather Tour, 24 Virginia counties in just 21 days.
We have just 1 week left. Storm Team 10 Chief Meteorologist Jeff.
The controversy surrounding political bias at Facebook continues this morning. A recent post on CEO Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook page says he knows Facebook has a problem with conservatives, and he knows many Republicans don't trust the website. This comes immediately after he met with 16 high-profile conservative leaders and media figures at the company's headquarters in California Wednesday. Participants said the meeting was productive, encouraging, and long overdue. The allegations are focused on Facebook's trending section.
Facebook has the ability to kind of dictate what is popular, what's going to, show up higher in their algorithm versus lower, and as a result, it shapes the way that, publishers are compiling their news and also sharing it.
The goal of the meeting was to show how Facebook picks the news stories. Facebook says it hasn't found any evidence to support the claims.
Congressman.
Happening today, the TSA is expected to talk about the upcoming summer travel season later this morning. The TSA will provide travel tips and demonstrate the impact of prohibited items on screening wait times at the airport. They'll set up a working security lane with volunteers to show the difference between a group of passengers with those prohibited items and one without. The TSA has recently come under fire for long lines and extended wait times caused by staffing issues.
Well, summer's